Have you ever walked into a room full of people laughing and talking and felt absolutely nothing? Have you ever solved every problem someone brought to you but couldn't solve the quiet ache sitting in your own chest? Have you ever wished, even for a moment, that you could just stop thinking? Not because you're tired, but because you understand too much and it's slowly pulling you apart. If that resonates with you, this might explain what you've been carrying. We live in a world that celebrates intelligence. High grades, sharp analysis, quick wit. These things earn respect, opportunities, admiration. From a young age, you were probably told that your mind was a gift, and it is. But what almost nobody tells you is that the same mind, capable of extraordinary understanding, is also capable of extraordinary suffering. Not because something is wrong with you, but because seeing more means carrying more. Intelligence is usually discussed as an advantage and rarely as a burden. Yet, for many highly intelligent people, there is a quiet experience happening beneath the surface. A persistent emptiness that doesn't match what their life looks like from the outside. Everything seems fine. Everything checks the right boxes. And yet something feels hollow. That gap between how your life looks and how your life feels is where this conversation begins. Psychology has studied this pattern more than most people realize. Research has shown correlations between higher cognitive ability and increased rates of anxiety, depression, and mood disorders. This doesn't mean intelligent people are broken. It means their minds process the world differently. One key mechanism is rumination, the tendency to replay, analyze, and dissect experiences long after they've ended. Where someone else might have an awkward conversation and forget it by dinner, a highly analytical mind reconstructs it, examines every word, assigns meaning to every pause, and quietly builds a case for personal failure before falling asleep. This isn't just overthinking, it's a cognitive pattern where the mind turns its greatest strength inward and uses it against itself. There is also existential awareness. Intelligent minds tend to ask questions that don't have comfortable answers. What is the point of this career? Why do people pretend to care about things that don't matter? What am I actually doing with the limited time I have? These are not dramatic questions, they are honest ones. But society isn't structured around constant existential reflection, so you often carry these questions alone. That isolation creates a loneliness that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. Another factor is social mismatch. When your cognitive patterns differ significantly from the people around you, connection becomes more difficult. Not impossible, but harder. You find yourself editing your thoughts before speaking, simplifying, performing a lighter version of yourself because the full version can feel overwhelming in certain environments. Over time, that editing becomes exhausting. The distance between who you are internally and who you present externally starts to feel like a gap you cannot close. Perfectionism often accompanies high intelligence. When you can clearly envision how something should be, anything less feels inadequate. You hold yourself to standards that no one explicitly demanded and then criticize yourself quietly when you fall short. The world sees someone capable and accomplished. You see every flaw the world overlooked. Perhaps one of the most painful patterns is emotional detachment. Many intelligent people don't lack emotions. They struggle to experience them fully. Instead of feeling sadness, they analyze it. Instead of sitting with grief, they intellectualize it. The mind becomes a buffer between the individual and their own inner life. Over time, that buffer starts to feel like a wall. You understand your emotions clearly, but you struggle to access them directly. This is what intelligent emptiness looks like. It isn't dramatic or theatrical. It's sitting in a car after a social gathering and feeling more alone than when you arrived. It's achieving something you worked toward for years and feeling almost nothing when it happens because your mind already moved past it. It's being surrounded by people and sensing that the conversations never quite reach the depth your thoughts inhabit. It's knowing you could explain the neurochemistry of your sadness but still being unable to make it stop. But intelligence itself is not the problem. The patterns built around it are. Rumination can be interrupted. Perfectionism can be softened. Emotional detachment can be relearned. The first shift is recognizing that not every emotion needs to be analyzed. Some feelings require space rather than solutions. Allowing yourself to experience an emotion without dissecting it begins to rebuild the connection between thought and feeling. The second shift is letting go of the expectation that every interaction must reflect the full depth of your mind. Not every conversation needs to be profound to be meaningful. There is value in small moments, even if they do not answer existential questions. The third shift is intentionally seeking environments and people where your cognitive style feels natural rather than excessive. Finding even a few individuals who resonate with your depth can significantly reduce the sense of isolation. Your intelligence allows you to see the world with clarity, but clarity without connection can become a sharper form of loneliness. The important question isn't whether you are too intelligent for your own good. The deeper question is whether your mind is serving your life or quietly distancing you from it. Intelligence can illuminate your path, but it should not become the barrier between you and the experience of being alive.